because
Are you on TikTok?
what now?
Are you on TikTok?
I used to be, but I had to take it off because I'm addicted. And I'll like watch people getting arrested for drunk driving and like lose my day watching one story after another. Or people mixing two colors together and seeing what the new color looks like with different
Oh, that's
percentages.
too
Like
funny.
it's they get you. And there's one lady that probably I have to look her up, but her thing is, that ASMR, the sounds that people like the sounds. She walks around dollar stores straightening their shelves and talks while she does it like softly. I'm like, I could do that. I love doing that. I have to, my kids are like, Mom, stop straightening up the cards, stop straightening up the, like, I should just go along to all the Hallmark stores or whatever and
Oh,
straighten the
that
shelves.
is too
It's so
funny.
funny what you can have a TikTok
Yes,
account doing these days.
probably a good thing you took it off.
Yeah, yeah, because I
Oh,
don't even need to, I don't
yeah,
stop. Yeah.
that is hilarious. Well, y'all, I'm glad everybody else is here and not scrolling their TikTok, watching people walk the aisles of dollar stores, straightening it up. So, thank you for being here. Today, we are talking about our last leak of this series. So, this month, we have been doing one a week. Just to really kick off the new year and really focus. It's hard to build a business if your foundation is leaky. So that's why we're doing it once a week. Going forward, our Cooking Up Success is going to be once a month. If you guys have any requests on topics, don't hesitate to let Hallie know. But we're looking forward to it because we are doing it more as an interactive. So you should have a workbook at you should have a workbook. If not, Hallie will be dropping it into or she already has, dropping it into the chat. And this is kind of our new format for 2026, something that you can walk away with and have some implementable content, not just sitting here listening to me. So today we're talking about the leak that makes every other leak that we've talked about this month worse, and that is underpricing. So by the end of today's sesh, you should understand why your pricing leaks and identify hopefully one immediate pricing adjustment that you can make within the next within with if you have current projects or if you have the next project that comes up. So what we're not doing today is we're not going to overhaul an entire pricing model, but we're going to talk about where the leak is and stopping it. So let's start. Let's start with like wherever you are with your pricing. Okay. I don't want you to leave here feeling like, oh, I just don't have my shizzle together. Okay. But I also want to clarify that most designers think that pricing is about numbers, and it's not. Okay, not for the sake of this particular conversation. Pricing is about capacity. Okay, it goes back to I think week number 2 when we're talking about authority. But it's also about how much responsibility that you're carrying as the designer versus how much support your pricing gives you. So when your pricing is leaky, everything else has to stretch in order to compensate it. So your boundaries are going to get softer, your scope gets blurrier, systems are restrictive, okay, instead of feeling supportive. Like processes need to support your creativity. And once this is happening, like when you're working your tail off and you don't feel like you're making as much money as you should be, your burnout is going to show up a lot faster. And then what happens is we're trying to fix the symptoms. And that is a lot of it is what we've talked about the past few weeks. It's like but it could also be we're working on our communication. Okay. Or we're like, oh, I just need to fix my mindset. Or I just don't have enough confidence. I need to work on my confidence, or I just need to be firmer. Like I'm such a people pleaser. I need to be firmer. But what's happened is like we haven't even turned the water off. Like it's still going to leak. Pricing touches everything. And it's not because money is going to be our most important thing. Now, yeah, do I work for money? Yes, I think we all do. But pricing sets the tone for how the work, how our designs is valued and how it's protected. So in the interior design business bakery, in our key ingredients live that's coming up here soon, we don't teach pricing in isolation. It's tied directly to the scope. It's tied directly to our boundaries. It's tied directly to our systems because they all rise and fall together. So underpricing shows up. It shows up as like, I didn't make enough money for the work that I had to do. I didn't charge enough. I charged too little. Okay. It shows up as like these patterns that continually repeat itself. And what happens is that we normalize these patterns, but they drain us slowly. It's like that continual drip, drip, drip. And you know what happens is these patterns start to feel familiar because they've been happening over and over and over again. And then, when something happens over and over and over again, and it's not blatantly smacking you in the face, they become comfortable. They're familiar. So let's talk about the 3 places that I've seen pricing leaks happen the most. Okay. One is when you are working off of a flat fee and there's no flexibility to it. Okay. So I teach, I practice, I love flat fees. Forbes honored that and featured me in regards to talking about flat fees. Like this shizzle works. Okay. But here's the thing, if your fee stays the same when the project grows, okay, or if it changes or expands or it evolves, you're absorbing this risk for free. So if they are not able to make decisions, this goes back to some of our other things. If every new decision, if they add a different layer, if they want to add on to the original project, okay, if it's an unexpected variable, your flat fee needs to become flexible. So if you don't have a way to respond to that change, then what happens is you become the buffer. Does that make sense? Okay, have you guys ever found that you were caught in this flat? Well, I charged them this amount, and I told them it's a flat fee. I can't change it. You have to have ways, and we're going to talk about this. You have to have ways to expand this, because what happens is does we feel like we're doing too much work for what we're being paid. Okay, but sometimes we can't explain why because it's just a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay, this could go back to our first week where we were talking about unpaid labor. Okay, so we have this unpaid labor, but what do we do about it when we're locked into a flat fee? Okay, there's another, no charges for changes. So one is when you have a flat fee that's not flexible, when you're not charging for changes. Because changes, especially if you're relatively new in business or if you don't have a solid sales process. Okay, these are the things that I do teach. If you need it, I'm here. But changes are normal. They're part of the design. But when they're free, that's a pricing decision. That's where your leak is. Okay, if a change doesn't cost anything, then what happens is the indecision becomes cheap. Clients just explore it like endlessly, or they expect you to explore like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Okay, or they're going to change their mind as you're late into your design process, or they're asking just one more change. Well, what happens is that every revision, think about this, like if you're in the middle, you've got your arms around every single piece of the design, like you're in the zone with this client. Well, when they ask for a change, it knocks you out of the zone. It changes your focus. Okay, and I'll tell you from experience, like your emotional bandwidth, it starts to really shrink. And I see this in our Facebook forums all the time. And I'm just going to say right now, y'all, if you are in a Facebook forum that's free and you're getting advice from other designers, you really need to stop and think about who those designers are and if you need to be listening to them. Are they just the armchair quarterbacks who are giving you advice, but they're not practicing it? Okay. Or are they giving you bad advice? So, what I mean by that is that I go into these Facebook forums and I see these people that are pissed off because they're, whoops, sorry, Samson, my little dog's under my foot. Because their clients are, can't make up their mind, or their clients are making changes. So they're resenting them. But the thing is, it's because, and then the advice that you see out there is like, well, you just need to tell them no, or you need to, or you need to just bend over backwards and give it all to them, whatever. But what happens is that like you're losing your patience, or you're avoiding emails, or you're avoiding these difficult conversations, or you're saying yes when you're feeling irritated. Okay. This is not a personality flaw. Okay. Yes. Oftentimes there are people pleasers, but what it happens is it's a pricing gap. Yes. It ruins your design focus. Thank you, Debbie. It takes you out of the zone where you have to relearn everything. So we have the flat fees that don't flex is one leak. No charge for changes is another, but also fees that don't reflect responsibility. Now, what I mean by this, and this is what I see a lot of, is that you're pricing for your design time, right? Your design genius. It's only going to cost me this amount of time, or it's only going to take me this amount of time to design the entryway. Okay. But here's the thing also, honey, it's not just the design genius. You are operating as the person responsible for the outcome, the timelines, the coordination, the client trust, the communication. So if you're just pricing for the design time, you are underpricing your role. Okay, does that make sense? Like you're being paid like a decorator while you're acting like the project CEO. As the designer, as the business owner, if you are the principal or the primary designer, you're managing risk, you're managing decisions, you're managing people, expectations, and the momentum of the project. So it's not just for your design genius, because if that was the case, you could hand them the design and they can implement it. That's a different service altogether. Okay. But the weight of this implementation matters. So when your pricing doesn't reflect your responsibility, that burnout is going to come in and just strangle you. Okay. And it's not because you suck. It's not because you're inefficient. But what's happening is you're carrying more than your pricing is designed to hold. Your legs are going to give out. Okay. Not physically, but your legs are going to give out because you're carrying too much. So here's what I want to do. Let's just slow down a little bit. We're not going to audit your entire business, but I want to, like, let's audit a project. And we're not going to do it right now. We don't have the time, but I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Okay. And I think this is probably in your workbook. Think of a project that felt heavy. Okay. Now, some of you I know may not have had a full scale project yet, but I make this up. Okay. Just make it up. Imagine it. Or hell, reach out to the person, on Instagram and walk through it with them as well. Okay. Or somebody here on our call. Okay. So think of a project that felt heavy, draining, and annoying in ways that you couldn't quite articulate. Okay. You can just feel it in here. It's like, oh, I'm just so annoyed, but I can't tell you exactly why. Okay. On paper, it might look fine, but you can feel it. You can feel it in your chest. Now, here's what I would suggest you do. This is what we've done in the past with my team. Like Debbie back in the day could not articulate what she was so frustrated with, but let's take a look at this. What was the original fee? And if so, where did the project expand? Did responsibility increase? And if so, where? Did you stop tracking your hours because it felt pointless? Just the effort in general? And where did you say yes because it felt easier than explaining? Y'all, I see my husband do this with my daughter on a regular basis. He says yes because it's easier than explaining. Okay. It's so funny how similar parenting is to managing your projects. So if you don't have kids, you're going to be better at it. If you manage your projects well, it's going to train you. Okay. And vice versa. Okay. So profit does not disappear all at once. It's going to leak out through underpriced or unpriced changing. So do you charge for your change orders? Do you charge for indecision? What are the consequences? Okay. Are you charging for the responsibility? This is a big one because I say this to clients in my one-on-one coaching, and they're like, oh my God, no, I was just charging for the design genius. But you're right. I am responsible for the people, the timeline, the communication, like all these details. You should be paid for that responsibility. There's the emotional labor, there's decision fatigue. So again, if a project felt heavy, but it looked fine on paper, go back and really dig into the pricing. So once designers see where the money disappeared, the fix is pretty obvious. Okay. And it's rarely dramatic. Think about it this way. You can almost reverse it. I will always joke that, hey, that client seems like a PITA. I'm not sure if I want to work with them. Okay. You pay me enough and I can put up with the BS. It's kind of the same thing, but you have to charge yourself enough to put up with the standard that we give in a project that we lead. So so just start by adjusting one thing. Okay. Some of you might be thinking, now let me ask you, are any of you thinking that you just need to blow everything up? Like you sitting here thinking, oh, you know what? I just need to blow it up. I need a new pricing model. I need new packages. I need new proposals. I need new website language. I need a new sales process. I need a new contract, like all the things. Anybody here feeling that? Okay. Because if you are, let me just tell you that you don't need to blow everything up. Okay. Maybe you're just thinking, oh, I just need more time. I just need more time. I need to circle back later. We just had a good conversation about needing more time in our lead lab call. We just finished that a few minutes ago. What's happening is if you're thinking that I need to redo everything or I just need more time, I need to run the numbers. Okay, you might say, I need to run the numbers. And I'll be the first one to say that I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I just say I need to run the numbers because that sounds smart. That sounds like what I should be doing. But here's the thing is in the back of your head or in your gut, I call it the birdie. That hesitation is the leak talking. Okay, it's the leak saying, I'm just going to avoid it. Okay, because you don't need to redo your entire pricing structure. You just need to take a look at where is that big leak within this pricing coming from and adjust that. Imagine you've got a leak in your wall. Okay, I've got a retaining wall out here in my garden. And if I had 5 leaks in there, I would start with the big one first. Okay, pull that one lever. Because if you try, Allie's probably going to laugh at this one. If you try to fix everything at once, nothing sticks. Okay. I love, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And then it's like I have all these great ideas about how we need to either fix what's broken or create something new. You can't do it all at once. Okay. If you fix one thing well, the momentum's going to follow. So identify the lever that's bleeding you the fastest. Okay. Go back to the project that you should audit. Okay, we don't have time to do it right now, or maybe some of you did, but go back and answer those questions. And then figure out, where did the profit disappear first? Not where it went out eventually, but where did it start? Where did the profit disappear first? Maybe it was there first. Oh, you know what? I know we decided on the blah, 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 but I really think I want a blah, blah, blah. Okay. I know we decided on that purple velvet sofa, but I really want a pink silk one. Okay. That changes everything, right? And then you agreed to it. So your profit started to disappear because you're doing the design twice. Okay. Or was it when the scope expanded, but the fee didn't change? Oh, you know what? While you're here, what would you do here in this powder bath? Oh, this is what I would do. Okay. Well, let's just do that. Okay. All of a sudden you're doing more. Okay. Or was it when these revisions piled up, but there was no financial consequence to it? When the responsibility grew, but your role stayed priced exactly the same? So that happened to me early in the day. It was, you know what? We decided to go ahead and repaint a few things. So all of a sudden I was in charge of the painter. And I didn't think, I just thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be here. I'm navigating it, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. It wasn't part of the scope. It's not part of my responsibility. I kept it priced the same. So now I've got that in my contract. Okay, so for those of you who have gone through the key ingredients, which we've got the key ingredients live coming up. If you've been in the interior design business bakery, I have a contract in there. You can take my clause, take the clause and use it. Okay, so this moment, this is your first lever. Okay, it's not the thing that annoyed you the most. Okay, it's not the thing that annoyed you the most. It's the thing that started it's the biggest leak. It's the thing that cost you the most. So here's what you can do about it. Add or change a fee. Okay, so if the work exists but the money doesn't, if this task, phase, responsibility, whatever it is, if it requires your time or attention, decision making, accountability, price it. Okay, so what I teach is that there are different phases and there are different appointments that when you've made that decision, there's a fee associated if you revise it. Okay, so there's design development, there's revision thresholds. Okay, or if I have to implementate if I have to oversee the implementation or coordinate it, there's a fee associated with it. Okay, and then we also have, it's like here, you can have X number of change orders for free, and then in the contract, anything above that is blah, blah, blah. Okay, if this fee had existed on the project that you audited, would the stress have eased? If so, then you know that this is the lever that you need to adjust. Because you're not charging more for the same work, you're just charging correctly for the work that you're already doing. Okay, a lot of this is going to go back to our first week where we were talking about unpaid labor. So same thing. Okay, you're out here. What would you do in the powder bath? Like the scope was just growing. Y'all, I'm pulling this from experience. I can tell you exactly where I was standing when the client said, "Hey, you know what? I know we're doing this room in the entry and la 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 la. But while you're out here, what would you do with the powder bath?" And I gave her some ideas. Like, you know what? You could put some wallpaper up. You could change out the tile. You could, get a new faucet. You don't need a new sink, but we could probably paint the base, like all the things. Okay, let's do that. I thought, fantastic. It's going to really be a great addition to the rest of the first floor that we're doing. Okay. But here's the thing. I should have given her a change order. Okay. Or a new scope of work. Because what it does is it's not confrontational, it's just consent. It creates a pause where everybody realigns. Does that make sense? It creates a pause where everyone realigns that something in this project has changed. Here's what it means. Okay, here's the change order. Here's what it costs, and here's what happens for us to move forward. Because if you don't pause and address that, your scope is going to expand invisibly. And it doesn't have to be like a whole powder bath. It could just be, oh, we should probably put some window treatments over here. Or, hey, Michelle, I know I told you that I really like the plantation shutters that I have, but I was thinking about it, and I think we really should probably put some curtains in here. Okay. That's an expansion where your profit is going to disappear. You're not getting paid for it. Again, think about this. If the project that you're auditing would have felt different with a change order, then this is your lever. Okay. So the first one is maybe you add a fee, or maybe you change a fee. The second one is that maybe you introduce a change order. Another option is going to raise one minimum or requirement. Okay. And Hallie, I might have to have you finish up some of this. I've got a design client call here in a few minutes. I can be a couple minutes late, but just a heads up. Cool. Okay. So, hey guys, I had a client. I just got a text that needed to move a call forward a little bit. I told her that I'm going to be a little bit late, but heads up, I might have to hand some of this off. And this is just one of those clients, which is fabulous. But let's talk about this. You might need to start raising a minimum or a requirement. What I mean by this, if the project feels heavy, even though you have badass clients, what happens is your minimums are likely too low. Like your standards. Okay. And what I mean by this is that your low minimums, it's not necessarily just a price point, although it could be. But if you have a low minimum, it can affect your expectations, your flexibility, how much you're asked to absorb. Okay, what it's going to do is it's going to be, maybe it is your higher project minimum. Okay, you might not take on a client for less than a $4,500 design fee or a $10,000 design fee, because is it worth it? Maybe there's a purchasing minimum. I just had this conversation with the client the other day that he didn't understand there's a purchasing minimum. Okay, or it could be a phase minimum. If this minimum had been in place for this project that you're auditing, would you have said yes differently or said no? Okay, I had a client who just wanted the design, and she wanted to go and open up her own accounts and do all the purchasing. No, not, and this was after she had signed the agreement. Oh, y'all, that was just such a freaking nightmare. So let's just lock this in. Like, I want you to choose one adjustment for that project that you're auditing. Not necessarily the safest one, not the easiest one to explain, the one that would have protected you most on the project. Okay, write it down. And you might not be doing it right now, But when you're auditing this project, write it down. Because again, designers don't struggle with pricing because it's wrong. They struggle because they don't know how to explain it. Okay. Our clients don't need justification, they need your structure. If you can write one sentence that explains your pricing adjustment, it can just give you the clarity and the lightness internally, but then it's also going to show up in your bank account. So here's what you can put. You can put these in your contract. Okay, get them checked by a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. Okay, but you can put something like this: as projects evolve, additional work is handled through a change order, so scope and expectations stay clear. Okay, or it could be our fees reflect not just design time, but the responsibility required to manage decisions, coordinations, and outcomes. Like that's huge. That's huge. Okay, or it could be that this structure allows us to deliver the level of service our clients expect without burnout or rush decisions. Like a lot of this is stuff that you can put into your sales process and just state it to the client. But if you feel the urge to apologize when you implement this, then you don't believe it just yet. You you still need to do it because belief's going to come through this repetition. And then what's going to happen is your business is going to align. So again, you need to identify where your pricing currently lacks structure. It could be your contract. It could be your scope of work / proposal. Okay, it could be your proposal for selling your furniture. Find it. Choose one place and update that. And then update it everywhere else after the big leak is fixed. So underpricing, y'all, doesn't just affect your income. It affects your boundaries. It affects your sanity. It affects your system. It affects your confidence. It affects your nervous system. It affects your capacity to do great work. What we've done today is we're aware of one lever and we're addressing it. I want to invite you, and Hallie's going to jump into this, but I want to invite you to Key Ingredients Live. What we do is we build all of this out. We look at your pricing so that it supports your business that you're running. Okay, the one that you're running now, not the one that you might have outgrown or the one that you haven't been able to step into. Okay, you don't need to work harder. You just need pricing and processes that hold the weight. So again, if you are holding too much weight, imagine this. Like I have my daughter, okay? She's a freaking 100 pounds, okay? She wants me to carry her up the stairs. I can carry her on my back because that's where my processes work. I cannot carry her in my arms. My arms would give out. Okay. So yay, you're going into the second phase of your process, you're rewriting your LOA. Yay, good, 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 Eileen. I love to hear that you're able to put this into place right away. So for those of you who want some help with it, Hallie, I'm going to go grab that client call. I know Julianne is on it with us right now, but or with her. So thank you very much, guys. I'm handing this over to Hallie. She's going to tell you what some options, and I will see you again next month. I'm not sure when, but I'll see you.
Yay,
Bye.
thank you. Thanks, Michelle. I'm the host, right? Yeah, okay. I just didn't want her leaving and have it close the account. So, close out the Zoom. So how many of you have been with us all 4 weeks? In the chat, if you have. So this one you can see we went last because when you talk about pricing and you're mentioning how because you don't have boundary set up in your business, or because you don't your authority kind of drifts throughout the project, making reference to those when you're talking about pricing, it doesn't maybe hit, all hit, but when you put them all together, you can see where pricing kind of is where they're all reflected, right? So I don't know about you, but when it comes to pricing, um, that's a putting yourself out there kind of thing. So this one we wanted to kind of do this one last because um, understanding all of the other places where your boundary, where you can have leaks in your business, this one kind of puts it all together, right? If we had to pick one topic, pricing would be the one, there's offshoots of it, right? So I think Michelle did a great job of explaining where where this lives in your business. So a lot of it is in your sales process. So if you don't have a really refined process to take someone from an initial call or email all the way through doing the final checklist of their project when it's done in photography, like these mechanisms that we were talking about the last 4 weeks, they live inside of all of your business processes. So, and Michelle touched on a lot of those during this week. Today, a lot of this would be in your sales process, like Michelle spoke about. So, in Michelle's business model, she does, if you've attended the Rolling in the Dough workshop, she shared this there. But she goes deeper into this when she covers it in the key ingredients. So, when you are onboarding a client, it actually starts with that first call. And so when people say, like, where's the module in the bakery on client onboarding? It's woven throughout all of your processes. How we price something, there's a mechanism to that. But then, but as she said, like when someone has too many change orders, that's woven into all her processes. How do we know when they're going to be happy with their design at the end? Or I've shown them a design based on all their Pinterest boards, but they hate it and now I need to start over. That's woven into all her processes, her business processes, so that doesn't happen again, right? So that starts with sales. So what we've done is if you're in the bakery, this is included in the bakery, but we're doing what we call key ingredients live, where we're going through the foundations, setting up your business foundations one call at a time, and it's going to span over about 4 months. I say about because it might be a week longer if there's a holiday, or if things go a little faster, it might be a week less, but it's about 4 months where we take your business foundations of your branding and your marketing, your sales process, your client onboarding, project management, pricing, just the overall client experience, and we help you build out all of those live with Michelle on Zoom week by week. So it starts next week. Bye, Jody. No worries, no worries at all. We go week by week, and so we're going to be talking about and training on a topic, and then we have a co-working session the next day where we're actually implementing it. So, and you have Michelle on the call live to go through that with you. So, for bakers, like I mentioned, this is included in your membership, because listening to a module and taking like I'm going to listen to this, learn how to do it, and then I'm going to reach out to Michelle and her team if I have questions. That is less effective. Some people love learning that way, and you're able to do that with this way because with Key Ingredients Live, you do get all the pre-recorded modules like lessons in there, but we're going through one by one live together on Zoom, I mean. That starts, we have a tentative date to start it next week. We might push it out another week if people need a little bit more time to decide. So there's some flexibility there. But within 4 months, your business is going to look completely different. So you'll have your marketing, branding, not that we're going to teach you how to do a logo, but like who are you as a brand? Who are you trying to attract as a client? What makes you unique? Some of those foundational things, because that could be the beginning of why you're not attracting the right people is your marketing. Then we're going to talk about, oh, Eileen, thank you. We'd love to have you live every week. Um, we love be I love and we like seeing your faces too. So thanks to those that are coming on camera. I know not everybody can, but and we don't care if you just come from the gym or you just woke up in your PJs. We don't judge like that. But anyway, so then we're talking about what services are you going to offer? What levels of services do I need to offer in my business? They can't all be full service, right? In an ideal world, they are, right? But as I'm starting out, what levels of services am I going to offer? How do those differ from each other? How do I price those differently? What do you mean I charge for procurement? So we're going to set all of those up live together. In It's almost like a boot camp. Um, And but the difference is instead of just giving you modules and having you listen and come here for feedback, we're doing it together throughout those 4 months. Some lessons might go faster. Some we might need to do a repeat if people are really stuck on something. Pricing is a big one. So not only what services are you going to offer, but how are you going to price those, and how do you split something? How do you have someone that you think they think wants full service, and then they get the scope of work presentation, they're like, whoa, this is a lot more than we wanted. And we teach you how to let's separate. Let's do some rooms, modified concierge, where we're doing the design and they're buying it, and the others are full service. Like, how do you price that? What do you do for that? So we like to do this live because then you can get your questions answered on the spot and implement on the spot. And then after that is like how are we running the project? So our sales process is partly onboarding too, right? So we're onboarding you, whether you realize it or not, we're onboarding these clients from our first call, and we're walking them through that sales process. Also sets up expectations for how we're going to be running the project. So when we mentioned like where does this live? Does it live in your presentation? Does it live in your scope of work? Does it live in your contract? We help you set all of that up through Key Ingredients Live. We're calling it the working kitchen. So, we like a bakery theme. Can I add the link to sign up before the? Yes, I will add the link. I have it right here, actually. Um, so it's right here. Lauren, you're in the bakery, right? Yeah, if you would like to share with other designers, it's awesome. I mean, the fee for this is ridiculously low, and you have lifetime access to the key ingredients modules as they're in there. So if we're talking about pricing one day, and you're like, I'm going to attend the pricing call, but I really need to look into something else that you're offering, you can obviously go to the module and look at the pre-recorded one. We just think there's a beauty to doing it live together. So pricing, project management, procurement, installation, like how do we charge for construction if a project got out of control before and we want to do our pricing a certain way with flat fee, but then, how do we add into the mix pre-construction because this is a custom home, and how do I price that? So we'll help you set all of that up in these 4 months together. There's an option, like a premium option for you if you want more time with us after the 4 months. You can sign up for that right away or during those 4 months if you're like, I want to continue on with this for a year and work with Michelle and her team for a year. There is an option for premium membership that just gives you more calls, um, you know, more we have a monthly master class where we offer you'd have access to that in the key ingredients live. You also have access to Michelle's monthly office hours. So our working kitchen costs, calls are 3 times a week, and then the fourth week is off just regular office hours. As a baker, what is the cost? Are you a current baker, Eileen? I didn't know your last name, so I didn't know which Eileen this is. I didn't see. As a graduated baker, we deep discounted. I think it's like 250. If you are a current baker, it's included, and the calls will be added to your call schedule already. So you won't have to worry about signing up for them. I just add them to that call. But I do believe once you're a graduated baker, you might need a refresh. And so you have access to all this content, but to go through it live with us, I think it's like 250. So, if you have any questions about Key Ingredients Live, um, and if it's a good fit for your business or if it's not, let me know. I always happy to jump on a Zoom with someone, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes, and help direct you. If you're needing business coaching in 2026, we're going to be offering it to you in a lot of ways. We're only going to be doing this boot camp twice a year. We do have one-to-one coaching options for Michelle. We have a marketing program called the Lead Lab. So if you're like, yes, I need all these business processes, but really first I need to get my marketing going and getting all my marketing practices set up and going. We have a a program that's just for that called the Lead Lab. And then we are getting ready to, you guys are the first that's going to hear this, so listen up. We're going to start offering starting next week. I have to put this together in a week. It's not, I mean, I just have to actually press some buttons to create it, but we're going to, Eileen O'Neill. Okay, I have to find the link for that, but I'll email it to you when we're done here for the link for that. We are going to be offering a low monthly membership fee to have, You know the Facebook group, the Launchpad that you guys are in? We're going to be doing a version of that, but it's going to be paid, very low monthly fee, where we're going to have a monthly masterclass and coaching from Michelle in that community live. So that Facebook group, you can ask a question and everybody answers. This is going to be a designated group, a paid group off of Facebook. So some people don't like Facebook, but they still want to engage with Michelle. It'll be a low cost monthly membership with a monthly masterclass, office hours access, and then live on the spot coaching in that community. So it doesn't have like the materials and the formats, and there's no, other than the masterclass that we're teaching, we'll give worksheets for those. But that's going to be an additional way for you to work with Michelle if this isn't you aren't quite ready for lead for the key ingredients live or lead lab. So I would love to have you guys join me. It's we did a round of this in the fall, and it was they love a lot of past bakers came back and they said this was absolutely amazing. So there's something about like, going through and hearing Michelle teach it live and implementing it live and having a question on the spot. And within 4 months, you won't even recognize your business, and all of this will be set up for you. So I think that's it. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to, I'm gonna stop recording.